We're back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going into game number 2 of our best-of-3 finals. My word, the Nexus Globetrotters, on the back end of that one, they're playing D now because they are 1 basket away from losing this best-of-3. You Forced My Hand is a very aptly named team, Mr. Shane.
Yes, they are indeed. That which forces the hand is being played up here. The map is going to be Sky Temple. And Globetrotters are definitely, the shot clock is counting down.
Yep.
And if they don't get the win here, they're going to be out. And this is going to be match point for them, man. So they definitely got to do something and do something quick, especially if you see an Asmodon. We're not going to see an Asmodon Sky Temple, though. There's no way.
No, yeah.
I highly doubt it.
As you guys can see in the background, it is going to be Sky Temple here. No more Dragon Shires. It's been like 5 Dragon Shires in a row or something silly. We're not doing that, but this is a good map for Vikings. Despite all that, the split soaking, the boat, it's all very powerful. Let's just see what we're going to be drafting here in game number 2. The Globetrotters are up to bat first.
So the first, or they banned the Rhaegar, then that which forces the hand is banning out Sergeant Hammer, and the first pick ETC. So one thing I was thinking about is how Globetrotters needs to change their draft. I felt like that was the biggest weakness in the, or one of the big weaknesses that we saw last match. Their team fighting was okay. They definitely were caught out of position a couple times, but I feel like the Demon Hunter, the auto attack Demon Hunter followed up with the Tyran, just absolutely tore apart Kiefer's Diablo. We were actually messaging each other in the break and talking about it, how we just absolutely tore him apart. He couldn't do anything. So they're switching it up. They're picking up the ETC. They're not going with that Diablo again. And, ETC obviously is kind of the premier frontline warrior that we're seeing, and also snatching away that Vala. So they are already taking away 2 heroes that Forced Hand had last game and picking it up for themselves. No Nazeebo pick quite yet. I think we're probably going to see him this time around, but Forced Hand is going to pick up Uther and Illidan. So they already have a very strong 2 heroes. Illidan always needs a good burst healer. Uther has that available to him right now, or Uther rather gives him that. And right now, they could also pick up a Tassadar, because Tassadar supplements Illidan so very well. And also, Tassadar is a very, very good hero on Sky Temple. He had the potential of getting the Mule. You also obviously have the vision going into team fights and whatnot. So I won't be surprised to see a Tassadar pick up from Forced Hand.
So this is actually the first time that we're going to get to see an Illidan in the semis. Actually,
yes.
Covered off stream, they had a very on point Illidan. I'm not entirely too sure what player from You Forced My Hand is actually is able to roll that, but they got more up their sleeve than just that one auto attack combo thing, because Nexus Globetrotter has basically destroyed that comp for them. They got the ETC, they banned out the Rhaegar and the Vala. This is a good chance, though, to do as much support the Odin as you can, because if the Nexus Globetrotters do want to go for a double support and the Uther and Malfurion and the Rhaegar and the Tyrande are out, and the Tyrande is actually out because she's picked up right here. Like, who do you have left for heals? It's right there.
Right now, well, Malfurion's over on Globetrotters and Uther is over on the side of there. Anytime we see double support, it's a combination of one of those 3 or 2 of those 3, Malfurion, Uther, and Rhaegar. I think I have seen like a Brightwing a couple times as well, but I feel like those are definitely like the 3 strong ones that really complement each other well and play to each other's strengths and whatnot. So I don't know. I don't think we're going to see double healer support here. That would be, I think that's pretty unlikely. But
they're okay. Globetrotters, you mean?
Yeah, or for Globetrotters rather. That's what I meant to say. Yes. More conventional draft coming out though. We're seeing that Nazeebo being picked up. Obviously, it's actually interesting to see these Nazeebo being picked up that late into the draft, but he's being picked up nonetheless.
Well, as I said a little bit earlier on in the bracket, if it's not a ranged assassin, there is a lot of emphasis on these ranged specialists. Zagara, Nazeebo, maybe not so much the Gazalo, but they go very well with Valas. I have seen triple specialist teams with a tank and a support actually do immense amount of work. It's really sometimes strange to see these classifications of the Siege and how they're just being treated as just bigger damage dealers with more utility. But You know, c'est la vie. That is the four-man roster so far from You Forced My Hand. What can the Globetrotters do? Now, you're not thinking of a double support. You're just going to leave it to the Malfurion. That will leave Malfurion susceptible to insta-deaths. We'll have to see if that actually becomes a pressure thing. But what else can the Globetrotters do at this point? The Illidan is already done. The Sergeant Hammer was banned out. If they're going to be adding a melee, you might be looking at the Zeratul, but if you ever in doubt of a team comp, always round it out with a good old bruiser of Tassadar.
Yep, Tassadar is such a very well-rounded hero. I mean, his pick rate's probably one of the highest pick rates of any hero and consistent pick rates of any hero since we've seen competitive Heroes of the Storm. For many reasons, he's just a utilitarian. He does an absurd amount of damage. It's a very, very strong hero, and I like the Tassadar pickup from Globetrotters because not only does it supplement their draft very, very well, but it also denies Forced Hand the pick as well, because Tassadar supplements Illidan's toolset so very well. It enables him to stay in those team fights longer, enables him to auto-attack more, get more rotations of his abilities off, and now they don't have that tool available to them. So what are they looking at right now? They already have a frontliner in ETC. They already have two pretty good backliners with the Vala and the Tassadar. We could see double warrior. Stitches is on the table. We could see on Sky Temple. It isn't unheard of to see. Okay, no, hold that thought. It is going to be the Stitches. So it is going to be with that double warrior right there. Composition, two strong backliners in the Vala and Tassadar with the Malfurion laying down the heels. Globetrotters has a very well-rounded draft. Forced Hand looks like they need a frontliner. I mean, what are the options? They have Diablo, they have Murden. What are you thinking, Sean?
That's pretty much it at this point.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to go EU style and get themselves a Wandering Barrel, which I don't think we're going to see. I'm curious to see if, though, is Nexus Globetrotters literally took the Stitches as a deny pick. Because I'm more of the view that they need some more damage on the table. Stitches, while he can actually put up some phenomenal numbers, is typically not somebody you kind of turn to put up phenomenal numbers. But, you know, between them, they at least have the synergy between the Rockstar Aura and Vala. That's also going to help out the Archon auto attacks as well. The movement speed will come out good there in the long run. But, you know, Globetrotters is a very tanky team. They do got the double healing ward once more. Okay. But, yeah, it's going to be a Diablo or it's going to be a Mirrodin. And actually, as we say that, it is going to be a frontliner from down under. Well, that's one way to put it, I guess.
Down under. I mean, it's true. He's from.
He's
not Australia
this time of year.
Oh God!
I'll tell you that.
Do not give any reason for Chala Jake to do any more accents, please. Oh Lord! Now every time Diablo's going to be picked up, he's going to be doing that. Anyways, love you, Jake. We're going to get into this match here on Sky Temple. This is the second game right now. Forced Hand is up 1-0 over the Globetrotters, showing off that they are a little bit more like MJ than the Globetrotters, even though MJ was never a Globetrotter. Anyways, I'm getting a little too deep into the lore here of Globetrotting.
We should really
going to get into the match here, and I'm excited to see how this plays out, man.
Oh, it's cracking up here. Yeah, these guys are just readying up, and we're going to get this game rolling. Sky Temple is... did we see a Sky Temple today? We've seen...
one.
Did we actually see one earlier? Who was the teams that we were playing earlier?
It was Forced Hand and...
so it was our very first... Okay.
Yep.
Well, I mean, these guys, they know what they're doing. They're here into the finals right now. You Forced My Hand is absolutely undefeated. This is the first setback, though, for the Nexus Globetrotters. We're not counting them out yet. Their draft is very tanky, and you can't take points and you can't win fights if you die. So we'll have to see if they can actually out-sustain the opponents. But, you know, evidence says it's going to be a lightning breath. I'm still waiting for that synergy of Apocalypse, Ravenous, and now Starfall. I'm really waiting for that.
That would be very effective. I agree. It looks like we have a little bit of a delay here getting into the matches, which is okay. Maybe one of them is using the restroom. They have permission to do that. For those of you who are maybe just tuning in, thank you for hanging out with us today on this lovely Friday night. I hope you guys are getting ready to have a very good weekend. There's the game going on. But this is the ESL Community Tournament. The fifth one right there. The fifth ESL Community Tournament, which is a tournament that's trying to help kind of organically grow the amateur scene here for Heroes of the Storm. So thank you to ESL for, you know, kind of supporting that and helping the amateur scene grow. As any esport, any well-known esport always has a good amateur scene behind it. So this is very important and vital to the growth of this game. And thank you to everyone who's contributed to the support of Heroes of the Storm on behalf of everyone who's involved in it, everyone who's been putting time, I mean, just pro bono volunteering their time right now, with rare exception, your support, shows us that it's worth the work. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you so very much, guys. So this is going to be the second game on the best of 3 for the finals. The map is Sky Temple. The teams are 2 very promising looking teams that we were originally not very familiar with, but right now we're getting a little bit more familiar with them and more impressed by each game that goes on both sides of the coin. Why don't you go ahead and introduce these lovely players here, Sean?
I would if my hotkeys worked. Okay, there we go. I think. Yeah. All right, we're good. No, we're not. Yes, we are. Okay. 100% we're good, Mr. Shane. Me and my shenanigans. Left-hand side, the team that is basically a mix of names that we've seen. A few new ones have been now added to it as well, but these are the Globetrotters on the left-hand side. Anxiety Law from the League of Legends side. Teebs, Bella Morte. I can't remember where I've seen Bella Morte from somewhere, but it's definitely, I've seen him before. Cossacks, and of course, Keepers, X2 Arc at this point. They have been trying their trick shots, but they're basically down to the quarter, and they got to make this shot, man.
Yeah, man. I'm going to forego the basketball metaphor and hold those off for a little bit better stage of the game. But the gates are down, ladies and gentlemen. The game is underway. The other team is going to be Force the Hand. Don't Force My Hand. Rephase playing Uther. ThourGasm playing Diablo. Fam playing the Witch Doctor. Tyron being played by Vulcan, and Som playing Illidan. So Illidan is a hero we see a lot of all the time, especially with the most current meta. He's kind of a very big linchpin for every single draft. It's all about drafting around or against the Illidan is what it seems to be. That and the Sergeant Hammer are kind of just those two. They're two just such pivotal heroes in the draft right now, and it's I love how it's changed because the meta has changed like month by month. And so far, I really like the meta that has kind of organically grown through the competitive environment here in North America. 3v3 in the mid lane, though. And they got to be careful as they went onto the Stitches, but going right onto his Stitches, I don't care who you are, he's going to be able to tank up a lot of damage. And they're going to have to retreat, soak up, or rather heal up as the first round of temples are coming online here.
So there's a few things to be paying attention to in this game. The first is this is the first time that ThourGasm has not been on ETC. So we're going to have to see if he can still bring the same level of pain. Second, our Vala is finally not going single target. You got that multi-shot build, and we're going to have to see if that pays her any use in this early because the temples are up. The bottom lanes, however, are still down. And everybody's congregating here into the mid right now. It is going to be red on top of the point. They've started to hammer away at that gate, but Som is going to get caught. Unfortunately, there's just nothing Red can do about it there. They are going to back up. It's a 6-second death timer. It's not the end of the world. We might actually be able to come back here to contest the temple, but it looks like ThourGasm's actually just going to make his way top instead.
A great Malfurion roots coming out from Tebs is what landed that kill onto Illidan. So that was very well done. It enabled them to get that level 4 talent just a little bit ahead of the competition, which pretty much gave up that temple to them without any sort of contention. Up here in top lane, ThourGasm needs to be careful. Neither of these teams went to this top lane. They put more priority on soaking and making sure the watchtower, is gained for them, as that watchtower is very pivotal on this map. That watchtower is probably more important than any other watchtower on any other map. And teams fight over it constantly. But speaking of fighting, these teams are fighting over the top temple. Meanwhile, bottom lane, ETC and Witch Doctor are just kind of going at it. They were originally going at it. Now it looks like they're going to be rotating here to top lane to supplement their team. And Globetrotters are looks like they're going to get both of the shrines here. So already their early game is looking good. They're about just under a level ahead. They're going to get level 7 well before them, and they're off to a great start.
Well, Red did get some shots off in the mid. They did get a few shots off in the top, but overall, yes, they have been muscled out. They didn't have the Witch Doctor, but at the same time, the Globetrotters, they didn't have Keepers there either. And it's because that Fam wasn't soaking nearly as much. You also now see about a level difference between the teams. The Globetrotters looking much better here on this early game. They got those 7 talents. They are suffering a little bit of this siege damage here in the mid. Another tower will drop. That's going to be putting us closer to parity here for You Forced My Hand. But it is still the early game advantage. We do not have Mule once again, though, on this Tassadar. He is going for the static charge. And, this is a very powerful map for Mules. I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen a single one on it.
Yeah, I mean, Malfurion also foregoing Mule as well.
Tyrande can still pick up. but
What'd
she
you say?
won't. Tyrande could pick it up, but she won't.
I know. Look, we don't want mules. We don't none of that game. Obviously, no one is a fan of old school Terran playing Wings of Liberty when they were the most balanced thing in the game. But yeah, I mean, Malfurion getting mule, you don't give up a lot for it. When Tassadar gets up mule, oh man, fan bottom lane, he's gonna be dead to rights. A good rotation from keepers, he's gonna go down. So that is a 2-0 kills going the way of Globetrotters. But when Malfurion gets mule, he doesn't drop a lot for it. When Tassadar does, it's a pretty big drop off exchange when you give up static charge. So I'm a little surprised that Malfurion didn't go with the mule, as you mentioned, it's such a great tool mitigating the damage from the temples. But obviously they feel they don't need it. They're putting more energy into just making sure he has those long sustained heals on his Q. Gonna see how that pans out for him. They're about to hit level 10. And I mean, only 2-0 kills. That's not something we don't see this passive a play during the Sky Temple usually.
It's actually been a little bit more of an atypical last few games with
yeah,
relatively
really
few kills and really late first bloods. But still, at the 5-minute mark, we do successfully hit level 10. We got that entire talent tier, and a very important one to boot, because now we have all these additional abilities ready to go. The timings here for the top bruisers are pretty much on point, because there it is, right on cue. The next temple is going to be activated into the bottom, so that is why both these teams have put so much effort into getting that pressure top. So if you go bottom, you lose out on the top. If you go top, you lose out on the bottom. So it's a really nice synergistic kind of view. But this has also now been a little bit more popular as of late. If you can't contest the temple, you need to be pushing down a fort, and it looks like top will be that target.
Keepers has got to be careful here, because he does have a 3-man rotation coming in here, sweeping from the south up, going up to the north. They're looking like they want to clean him up. He is going to get stunned out. Power slides on cooldown. A good zoning Zombie wall is going to get the kill onto him. So well played by them. As you mentioned, they knew they couldn't get the temple. They had to find objective elsewhere on the map. So not only do they get the kill on the keepers, now they have a easy fort to get here top lane. So well done by them. So this exchange is actually going to be pretty even for them. Even though they gave up the temple, they're not really, I mean, that's a good exchange for them. So well played by them. Looking at the ultimates on both sides of the team, there's that Apocalypse you've been talking about all night, Sean. Finally, we're seeing it.
Yes, the Apocalypse. So, Apocalypse, Divine Storm, a dead Vulcan, not part of the plan, but the Apocalypse and the Divine Storm setup for the Ravenous and the Starfall. I'm assuming that's a Starfall. So I'm yet to actually tell us what it will be, but Keepers, he's definitely going to be in the thick of things here. He does not have that mosh. There comes the Apocalypse. It will lock up both Valor Morte and Keepers. Rephrase still slamming away there on top of the stitches. Very Paladin-esque of him, but that's going to be a hook. A good clutch heal. Rephrase, however, is not going to get out. The power slide is too much, and Illidan actually dying in the back as well. Good amount of kills now being piled up into the corner of the Nexus Globetrotters, and they are still maintaining this early game lead into the mid.
Yeah, they're translating their advantages into something palpable. And that's really something that a lot of these other teams who maybe weren't having as much success tonight as we've seen, that's something they haven't been really good about, is when they have a power play, when they have an advantage, to turn that advantage into something that actually translates to something, whether it be a map objective, whether it be pushing in a lane, getting something out of it. And that's exactly what Globetrotters have been doing throughout the course of this match, and why we're seeing them 2 levels ahead just at the 8-minute mark. So if they continue to play like this, I feel like they definitely are just going to have a smooth sailing all the way to the core. Because right now they are just playing so well. They have great tools to deal with the Illidan. You have the Tassadar picking up the Shrink Ray. I agree with that. You use Shrink Ray on that Metamorphosis, and it negates it very, very well. And it's hard to get away from. Putrid Bile being picked up with Stitches. Anytime you're a melee hero, Putrid Bio is so good at just completely snaring them up and just making their life a living hell, especially with a Diablo as well. So that Putrid Bio is a great tool at dealing with the dive-heavy composition that Forced Hand has. So I really like their draft. I really like the way they're playing their draft and how they've been playing in these team fights. If they keep doing it, man, it's going to be an easy win for them.
Yeah, we might actually get to the dream of game number 3. Yeah, but we'll reserve judgment all the way up until the end. It is not over until you collect the gold inside the Cobra.
Yes,
so
sir.
And if you don't know, this is a Cobra, and in fact, whatever this liquid is, for whatever reason, that is the Divine Guardian of the piles and piles of gold underneath. Yeah, don't really know about the lore on that one, but we will move on. Now, did you know that in the first tasteless cast of his Heroes of the Storm, he actually knew no ability names, and I actually quite like this one. The zombie donut was a big thing to him.
Ooh. Yeah. I like the zombie donut. Speaking of donuts, Keeper's showing some style. He thought he was in NASCAR, but he's not a Tassadar. You're no race car. Stage diving into the backline. Orgasm is very, very low. He's got to be careful using the Apocalypse. There was a good Apocalypse, a good Divine Storm. Able to zone out at least for a little while, but Diablo does go down. He's going to be back up momentarily, though, as he comes from hell, and he's going to be coming back. But Illidan got taken out. So this, once again, is looking great for Globetrotters. No double dribble going on right now. Turn your head and cough. Bringing them to the clinic. Well done by them, and they're just continuing to push the advantage. They're going to fall back to these temples, continue to push down the structures and destroy these buildings, and just hit level 16, and they're hitting their stride, man. It's looking good for them.
Once you see the zombie donut, you cannot unsee the zombie donut.
Now, what I want to know is there's the center to the donut. What type of donut are we talking about? Are we talking jelly-filled? Are we talking a more conventional donut where there's an actual hole in the middle? If there is a hole in the middle, then what's the donut hole? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered about this, Sean.
Well, the stage dive answered one question there because it was a Keeper's flavored donut. He was literally right in the middle of it. It was actually a really nice wall there from Fam. But yeah, we got to work it in more, that zombie donut. Either way, that last fight, it was phenomenal amount of just synergy coming up from the Globetrotters. They were able to basically heal up, keep together, and they were able to take down You Forced My Hand one by one, and they suffered almost nothing for it. I mean, they still get these temples. We're looking at some pretty significant keep damage, and we got no mules now on the board to deal with that. We got this big push coming in through the bottom lane here. Bella Morta just really setting up here for a hook. Does he have the fishing? He has the stun slam, but still, he hit the wall.
Every Stitches player on the planet felt that there. One, Sean.
Oh,
man. That's okay. They're going to push down this bottom lane anyways. There's a Metamorphosis. They're going hard on there right now, but Future Bile is going down. Is that Sound of the Horns retreat? No, there's Tranquility, but they're fighting on top of a Starfall. Stage dive being used. There's the Apocalypse. Diablo goes down anyways, but he's going to be back in the team fight. ETC goes down, a 1-for-1 exchange, but due to Diablo and the way he works, this is actually going to go the way of Forced Hand, and they're going to be able to sound the Horns retreat for this for Globetrotters right now. They are going on the other side of the court. Let's see if they are able to get away cleanly. Their exit strategy looks like it's not much of a strategy at all. They're just going to hit Z and hopefully run away. A good Lunar Flare into Bella Morte. But can we see a Shadow Charge from Thorgasm? Because if he's able to Shadow Charge anyone, he'll be able to pick him off. Looks like he's going to be able to get Somni to be careful here. He's real low. He went ahead and parkoured on top of him. Yep, they're going to get away. So only one going down. But the big thing to take away from that is bottom keep is still alive. So well done by Forced Hand. They're showing signs of life and showing that they're not going to be pushed over so easily here.
Yeah, the disengage, yeah, sure, they lost out keepers, but the disengage was ridiculously strong there from the Globetrotters. I was expecting at least one more to go down, but just didn't happen. As he said, Thorgasm, he's able to come right back in. He was able to consume all 100 of his souls, which is what his passive allows him to stack up. And we had, the only resurgence left in the game, more or less. Now, it's actually curious, 2 temples are up, and we don't have any big progress going up towards that way from You Forced My Hand. They instead decide to opt to clear out the bottom lane. They're now kind of coming really late to this party. We got a 5-man stack ready to confront them here from the Globetrotters, and well, that's going to be the engage.
A good hook on a Witch Doctor, but the follow-up Rain of Vengeance was money as money can get. The currency, the stock market is looking good for him right now. Bella Morte is going to get taken out. Once again, they're fighting on top of a Starfall, and that is never good. Keeper's completely caught out of position. He got his eyes on that Witch Doctor, but unfortunately, once again, took him to the clinic and made him turn his head and cough. He doesn't have a hernia, but goddamn, is he going to be dead as hell.
Now, you might be saying, all right, that team fight looked like it was going for the Globetrotters, and then it just kind of didn't. And now, to be fair, we also did lose out the Diablo, so again, you had to roll out that passive, although 2 in a row, that's actually really interesting to me. Maybe, did he not die last fight?
Diablo? No, he lived.
I could have sworn Diablo had died when we were pushing out the bottom, so either way, let's apply all that previous commentary about how he consumes souls and comes back to the fight now, because that's what he just did. That's why he's back on the board. That was even more impressive to me though, because Thorgasm didn't have ult. Now he has Apocalypse up. They won that
Yes.
fight without Apocalypse.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, actually. Well, speaking of ultimates being used, Som going ham here right underneath the boss. Teebs is going to get real low. He's going to be going down. There's the Apocalypse. Tassadar barely getting hit on the edge of it there. Som is just going completely ham in the backline. Teebs, there he goes, finally going down. But that right there is grouping up on top of that capture point. As still hasn't been captured.
No, it
3
wasn't.
for 2 right now. This is just going anyone's way there. Okay, this is going to be going the way of Force Cannon. Oh my lord. Right now, all of a sudden, they're back in the lead here, Sean. They have the experience advantage. Now they have the Bosch. They're going to be pushing down these lanes, and they're in a great position to get the advantage back into their favor. That was incredible.
Som, man, he came up huge right there. Not only did he get that metamorphosis off, and that was allowed the Apocalypse to actually land on top of the Tassadar, but he was also able to take down the Malfurion on the back of all that, and then he just did not die. He was zip zooming, parkouring around. He got so much damage from that immolate, and everybody was basically stuck on that point. The Starfall, well, we didn't use the Starfall, but the Tyrande, like, we had so many team members there, the Globetrotters, just trying to make sure that they did not lose out that boss. It just turned into almost a turkey shoot here for EForce in my hand. And now the Globetrotters all of a sudden have this huge momentum swing. They've lost out the bottom keep. The boss is going to be going up to the core. I don't think it's going to be any kind of permanent damage, but they've really lost out on that momentum and that initiative. And now level 20 as well for EForce my hand. This is not a good position to be in.
Really impressed with their fortitude, keeping their head on their shoulders. They're playing like a veteran team. Oh man, Bella Morte.
Wait, if they kill the other knights and that guy's still hooping it back, they can't capture it.
That was really funny. That was awesome. Oh man, trollface.jpg right there. But they're showing the fortitude of a more veteran team, man. You know, they've been behind since the get-go, but they haven't given up too much ground. They were able to keep up that bottom keep, as we talked about before. That's really where the turnaround happened, is when Globetrotters pushed into bottom lane to try to get that bottom keep, and it hasn't been going their way ever since then. So my compliments to Forced Hand, because right now this game is anyone's game. Both teams have level 20, so they're on that even ground with the Storm talents. And now it's all about on getting these temples and, you know, trying to get these keeps down so those temples start nailing down the core. And right now, Globetrotters are just, looks like they are not going to have, they just aren't in a place to respond to this bottom temple because Forced Hand is already in a good position.
If we don't get a big contest going soon on this bottom point, that's going to be a free keep there into the mid. And you know, the map positioning is not agreeing here with the Globetrotters. We're going to be looking for those hooks. Here comes the stage dive. Unfortunately, it hits nobody. It does get keepers into position, but Teebs in the back gets absolutely murdered. Som looking so good in that backline. It's going to be forcing this Archon now into the void. Catholics is just thinking, okay, I'm in a corner. I'm Vala. I'm getting a little bit screwed here. Bella Morte is trying to do his best with that bio, just with that presence, but it is not nearly enough. And once again, the late game team fight is going to go the way of EForce my hand. This could be the game-ending push right there. We got GG's already getting called out here as well. I think the Globetrotters know that they've been beaten to the buzzer now.
Yeah, that's probably the most preemptive GG I have ever seen. They know the game is over there. 4 down for that length of time. So well played by Forced Hand. I mean, Globetrotters were in a great position for the first 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes of that match. But just due to the fortitude and the constitution, for those maybe Baldur's Gate players out there, putting extra points into constitution to keep themselves
Baldur's
alive.
Gate did not create Dungeons and Dragons, okay?
Well, I know, but it's just, Baldur's Gate is the more well. If you know Constitution, look at all that gold. You know, it's right. Constitution equals health equals. You know, that's no problem.
Why is there so much gold underneath a globe of water?
I don't know. Wouldn't that? I mean, that's gold. Gold is not. I mean, water messes with gold. It's not like a stainless steel. That's going to erode the gold, and if it's not, I mean.
So here's your homework, guys. Go to every map and win the game. You will notice every statue is full of gold.
Apparently, it's they love gold. Anyways, back to talking about Constitution.
Is that what we're talking about?
America in 1776. Wrong Constitution, boys. Talking about the fortitude of Jesus. I'm so sorry, guys. My brain is fried. I apologize ahead of time.
96 hours of work or something?
I worked like 90 hours this week, and I've been packing in case you couldn't tell. I'm moving in a week or two, so definitely not the most energetic cast I've ever done. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. Anyways, let me finish my thought before I pass out into a coma. Forced Hand showed a great constitution and fortitude, and able to keep themselves in the match while they were on the back foot for the majority of it. And it's a really big testament to them, man. I can see both of these teams becoming, putting a little bit more out there and maybe having a little bit more success in the bigger tournaments. Maybe in Kings of the Storm, maybe in like the ESL monthly or something like that. I could definitely see them contending with some bigger names, and I'm looking forward to seeing both of these teams face against more well-known opposition. And just well played by them, well deserved.
That's exactly why we have more and more of these, cups, these leagues. The amateur teams, I've likened this before, and it really fits well with the basketball we got going on. You got your NBA, and then you got your college league. College gets upgraded to NBA, well, eventually, scouting. But we have to have the same kind of support system here in any esport. I mean, if we are going to be mimicking out the sports to a high degree, we do need this kind of, feeder system. So this is a nice, safe atmosphere for a lot of the teams to be playing and not get crushed. You can really discover yourselves as a team, your synergies, your communication. You get all that competitive experience under your belt, and that's how the future stars of tomorrow of Heroes of the Storm is going to be born. So once again, thank you so much, ESL, for Cup number 5. Congratulations to you, Force My Hand. It's great to see new talent. And, Globetrotters did not play terribly at all. They did get all the way here to the finals. Fortunately, they just could not put a dent in this team. And as you say, I'm really excited to see if they sign up for some more of the bigger events, like the Kings, like our Community Cups, the Go for Heroes on Sunday. So, yeah, we'll have to see. Thank you again. We ended off 200 viewers. Phenomenal for a Friday night. I know a lot of you guys are out there busy. Shane, I know you take a lot of time out of your schedule. You are moving. You're getting all your job stuff in short order. Thank you so much for coming out on the caster. If people like what they see, like what they hear, where can those 200 viewers find you?
You can find me over on the Twitter universe, the Twitterverse. Also, rip Leonard Nimoy.
Yes, that was not a good day a good start to my day at all.
I know, man.
Not a good
I'm a big Star Trek guy.
Yep. I'm a Trekkie.
When I'm at a crossroads or a conflict, I literally think in my head, what would Picard do? I'm not even making that up. That thought goes through my head. Every time I have to make a decision that's like important, I have to go, what would Jean-Luc Picard do? So rip Leonard Nimoy. You can find me over on Twitter at @Shane Gucher. I'm very active on Twitter. I post all sorts of wacky stuff about heroes and just about whatever's going through my head. So if you guys want to hang out with me, you can go ahead and follow me over there. And Sean, thank you so much for having me, man. It's always a distinct pleasure to be casting with you, a distinct honor to being involved with the great community and growing community that is Heroes of the Storm. I'm really looking forward to the future, man. It's going to be good times.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, guys, you are here on my channel, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. You can find me at FourCourtJester. Tomorrow, I'm going to be covering Kings of the Storm, and I believe that is going to be here on this channel. So, there's a lot of things going on tomorrow. The Titan Arena by MLG. I'm helping cover the Storm because Jake and Kubi have previous engagements. Sunday, I believe, Shane, are you going to be joining me for the Go for Heroes Cup number 13?
You know it, man.
Right.
That's my lucky number.
I think it's actually 13. It's 12 or 13. It's one of the two. But yeah, a lot of heroes this weekend. A lot for you guys to be watching. So that means go to bed early tonight. Korean heroes in the morning over at Africa.tv with Tasteosis. You don't want to be missing that. There's just so much to do, so much to watch. Heroes are getting so big, and it's wonderful you all chose to spend time with us here on this Friday night. So have yourselves a wonderful night. We'll see you this weekend. Shane, get some sleep, sir.
Thank you. I will.
We will see you guys over the course of the weekend. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Take care, guys.